Like, these are all things that make your size irrelevant. That's light work. Oh, you want to reject me? That's fine. Oh, you don't want to be with me? That's fine. That's light work. Do you know who I am? I'm him. Women can sense that because it automatically takes the edge of thirstiness off of you when you... How to make her want you. What if I told you that I honestly think that being a bigger dude gives you an edge in the dating world? And I think it's for two reasons. I'm gonna get into the reasons specifically a little bit later in this video, but I want you to keep that in mind. I think the story that we have about being bigger men, and obviously I used to be a big boy, and I'm speaking from experience because I was a big boy, I still managed to have desirable women desire me. You feel me? And I think we put way too much emphasis on how we physically look as men in our own heads when it's not as important as we think to women. Because with women, they're emotional creatures, they're intuitive creatures. And for them, it comes down to safety. So with the information that I'm gonna share in this video, you're gonna be able to use the fact that you're a bigger dude to your advantage, but only if you apply these three things that I'm gonna speak about today. So the first tip, I want you to take on a higher identity, and I'll explain what I mean by that. So if you struggle with women, I don't think the problem is what you look like. I think the problem is your identity, your story of yourself, how you feel about yourself. That's the problem. So like I mentioned before, women are emotional and intuitive creatures. And oftentimes, especially the most attractive ones, they're very insecure, which makes them expert at spotting insecurities. So if you come to any woman and you are exuding any energy of insecurity, they're gonna spot it right away. They're gonna feel it. And what that does, it makes them feel unsafe. If they can identify that you don't feel safe in your own skin, there's no way that you can make them feel safe. And I'm gonna talk about how to work on these insecurities. But first, let's talk about the more obvious things you can do, right? Before we get into the internal stuff, the first thing you can do simply is to present yourself better. Start to dress better. I see a lot of big boys wearing some very questionable outfits. Fellas, do not dress like this. You want to dry up every feline in a 30-mile radius, put on these shorts. It's the most obvious thing we can do. Smell good, be well groomed, dress well. The most important thing is how your clothes fit. Big men, and I used to make this mistake too, we think that wearing bigger clothes makes us feel smaller. Nah, bro, it makes you look bigger. You gotta have your clothes fitted well, and you have to pay attention to the details. Your accessory game has to be on point. Do you have bracelets? Do you have earrings? Do you wear glasses? Your belt. Oh my God, your belt. And thank God Anson Belt is sponsoring today's video. All right, be completely honest. Most of us don't really pay attention to the quality of our belts. I remember when I was a big boy, my belt was always cracking. As I was losing weight, I had to poke holes in it. The thing looked raggedy. These Anson belts took my belt game to the next level. Listen to this, this is so gratifying. Ooh. Oh my God, see, this is a quality product. These Anson belts are fashionable, they're functional, they're affordable, and there's so many variations with colors and different materials, different straps, different buckles. There's roughly 10,000 different combinations that you can create. They have real leather, they have canvas. This black leather one is so fresh. I love it, man. It got the matte black buckle. Honestly, before Anson Belt, I had no clue how terrible my belt game was. When I'm going for a more dressy, formal look, I match the brown belt with the brown shoes. Man, I'll be fresh. And the beautiful thing about this belt, for people who are on weight loss journeys, as you start to lose weight, you don't have to buy new belts. All you gotta do is cut a little piece off. There's no holes. Listen, do not procrastinate. Grab you an Anson belt, go over to their website and step your belt game up right now. All right, thank you Anson Belt for sponsoring today's video. All right, so now that you got your look together, which makes the most obvious immediate impact on your identity of yourself, because if you look better, you feel better. Now let's talk about how to actually increase your self-value. how to increase your confidence. Essentially, this is what it comes down to, is confidence. A lot of bigger dudes struggle with women, again, not because of what they physically look like, but it's because they lack confidence because of what they look like. And a lack of confidence is simply a lack of trust for yourself. Most bigger men, most men in general, are addicted to comfort and pleasure. You are afraid to do hard things. That is why you struggle with women. You are afraid. You don't have confidence. You don't have trust in yourself that you can deal with a tough moment, which is why you get so nervous when you talk to women. You're afraid to get turned down. In order to take on a higher identity for yourself, which cannot be faked, in order to take on this higher identity, you have to prove to yourself that you can do hard things. So for the next 30 to 90 days, I want you to make your life a controlled hell. So for the next 30 to 90 days, I want you to purposely challenge yourself every single day by doing something that you essentially hate. Now, I know this sounds crazy to most men listening to this right now, but if you want a woman to want you, you have to become the type of man who is not a liability to her if she gets pregnant by you. You have to become the type of man who can build things. And you know what? In this world, especially nowadays, it is hard to build things. It's hard to build a life. It's hard to make money. It's hard to build an amazing physique. It's hard. And this is the way you separate yourself from the rest of the pack. This is the way you present yourself as an elite option to procreate with. Now, this mental muscle, right? You have to harden your mind. In order to do that, you have to have exercises for it. So for the next 30 to 90 days, I want you to do something extremely tough every single day. This could be a cold shower. This can be a cold plunge. This can be talking to a stranger, 100 push-ups. This can be a hard workout. This can be a breath work exercise. This can be yoga. This can be sitting down for meditation. Whatever it is that challenges you. And when you think about it, it has to be something that automatically brings up resistance, like, nah, I don't want to do that. If it doesn't bring up that thought, like, nah, I don't want to do it, it's not hard enough. And I promise you, if you do something that fits this criteria every day for 30 to 90 days, it is impossible for you to be the same version of yourself on the other side of that. It changes you. It changes you. You build confidence in yourself. You prove to yourself that you could do hard things. And when you do this over and over and over and over again, your confidence level, your trust in yourself, your resilience, your mental toughness, your emotional toughness, everything increases and it turns you into a motherfucking god. You feel me? It turns you into a beast. And it makes approaching a woman feel like child's play. That's light work. Do you understand, woman? I just sat in 40 degrees of water for 7 minutes and I sat there like a beast. Do you understand that I just deadlifted 525 pounds, woman? Are you kidding me? Your little attitude is not gonna shake me. That's light work. Oh, you wanna reject me? That's fine. Oh, you don't wanna be with me? That's fine. That's light work. Do you know who I am? I'm him. You have to get to that point where you have done enough in your life that you know you are him. You feel me? And it takes intention. It takes daily choices to put yourself through shit that makes you suffer. It takes a daily decision to detach from your comforts, to detach from your pleasures. So for the next 30 to 90 days, stop jerking off. If you're single, stop dating. Maybe you give up sugar for 30 to 90 days. Do something that challenges you. That's gonna reveal you to yourself. That's gonna show you who the f you are, bro. That's how you build your confidence. And after that period of time, listen, oh my God, your aura, your energy, when you walk into a room, a woman's gonna be able to sense that. He's not like every other guy. Tip 2 is cultivating emotional intelligence. You have to know yourself. You have to be aware of your emotions and your thoughts and your insecurities, your strengths, your weaknesses. You gotta know these things about yourself. That way you know how to navigate certain conversations. You are so aware that you see when you are exuding insecurities, when you are being desperate, when you are chasing. I'm against that, personally. I don't do it. You have to learn how to be empathetic. You have to learn how to listen to your woman. You have to learn how to pay attention. You have to be able to communicate effectively. Most men are walking around like cavemen, so out of touch with what's going on with their woman, what's going on with themselves. You gotta have self-awareness. You gotta be able to regulate your emotions. You gotta be able to communicate well. Like, these are all things that make your size irrelevant. Like, a big boy who dresses well, who communicates well, who's smart, who's emotionally intelligent, who listens. This bigger dude will definitely have the edge over the fit dude who is totally oblivious, has no emotional intelligence, doesn't listen, doesn't know how to communicate. You feel what I'm saying? And the way you cultivate emotional intelligence is self-reflection, intentional self-reflection. I'm a big journaler, right? Mindfulness, taking time every day to sit with your thoughts, to sit with your emotions. We got to get out of this toxic cycle of denying our emotions. You have to know your emotions head to toe. You got to understand the nature and the patterns of your mind. You got to understand what makes you reactive. You got to understand what makes you defensive. You got to understand what makes you insecure. You have to understand this stuff. This sort of stuff gives you the edge with women, because 9 out of 10 dudes are not going to be able to do that, right? So again, you got to play to your strengths. You may not have a six-pack, but you may be a great listener. You may be a great communicator. You may pay attention to the little details, from 7 conversations ago and recalled, oh, she liked this, or she wants, and you recite it back to her and she like, oh, damn, this dude listens to me. Tip number 3, you want to create a world that she wants to be a part of. You got to have interesting hobbies. You got to read good books. You got to be a good conversationalist. It helps when you have experienced things that creates intrigue in a woman, that makes her wonder, like, damn, what's this dude about? I came in his house, he has this statue that he said he got from Egypt, and it's like blowing her mind. It helps when you have hobbies, when you have your own routine, when you have a world that you love. Right? When you love your personal space, when you love your personal time, when you're okay with being by yourself, you actually love being by yourself. Women can sense that, because it automatically takes the edge of thirstiness off of you when you love spending time by yourself. She gotta wanna be a part of your world. And listen, your world has very little to do with your physique. All right, so now let's circle back to why being a bigger dude gives you an edge, in my opinion, right? If you play the cards right. For 2 reasons. We talk about safety. Women want to feel safe, and there's 2 types of safety that women want to feel. They want to feel physically safe. They want to feel emotionally safe. And now when you're a bigger dude, especially when you're a confident big boy that dress well, who holds himself in his masculine frame, she feels like you can protect her. That's one edge. Now, bigger boys can also make women feel safer emotionally, because, and don't take this the wrong way, they're not as intimidating. A lot of bigger dudes are kinder or more patient, right? Because frankly, and I'm speaking as an ex-big boy, they don't have as many options, so they typically aren't as brash. With that being said, when you have a more patient, kind presence, you create more feelings of safety for women. Now, there's a fine line there, right? There's a fine line. If you cross that line, if you're a little too nice, that can be a turn off, but you got to learn how to walk that line, right? In order for it to become an advantage for you. Anyway, guys, hopefully that was helpful. Comment down below any thoughts. If you disagree with me, with anything I said, I would love to have the conversation with you in the comment section below. Hit the like button if this video helped you. And remember, the body that you want is owned by a higher version of yourself, so evolve. Peace.